Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about the new Disney Skyliner. Now I know this is another news, rumors, update type of video, but with a lot of things happening at Disney, I thought it might be a good time to do a couple of those types of videos. So I'm going to have another, I'm not sure how many, somewhere between 1 and 3 more after this, and then we will return to our regularly scheduled programming, which is more park tips and things that are happening right now rather than projections in the future. So the Disney Skyliner, like I mentioned in a previous video, was announced at the D23 Expo in the end of July. I think it was the end of July, beginning of August, something like that. And this is a transportation system. Now, if you had been to Disney World a long time ago, you might remember that they had what was essentially like a ride and transportation system all in one in the Magic Kingdom. And it went from, one end of the park or one part of the park to another part of the park. Now this is going to be a bit different in that this is primarily a transportation system. It's not in the park. It's going to be used as a transportation system. And now all Disney announced is that they're getting these gondolas for transportation and that they are going to connect Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, and other resort hotels, other resort areas with Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So that's all that Disney officially announced. So I've been doing quite a bit of research and following some rumors online to see what I could find out. Now, like I mentioned in my last video, I really try to only focus on the credible rumors that are based on fact, and these same rumors were actually confirming or speculating at that time the Skyliner before Disney announced them, so they were accurate in that regard. So what else are they saying? Now, they're saying that it will also connect Riviera, which is going to be Disney's vacation club resort right near Caribbean Beach. And from the artist rendering, that's what it looks like as well. Now, it has also been said that the company that is making the gondolas is called, I'm sure I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, Doppelmayr, and this is based in Europe, I believe Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, who knows, it's probably Russia, I don't know, somewhere in Europe. And I'm guessing that they know that based on contracts that were pulled, and a lot of this information is also based on building permits that were pulled, etc., and aerial shots and stuff like that. Now, based on the company and the information that Disney released in the artist rendering, the rumors that are being discussed have come up with the following things. The gondolas are each expected to hold between 8 and 12 people, and this top speed will be around 13 miles an hour. They also think it is going to be a single rope system, not rope, cable. I keep calling it a rope. A single cable system as opposed to a multi-cable system. And if you look at the Doppelmayr website, they also announced that they're detachable, which I would expect Disney to have as well for loading and unloading for safety purposes. And what this means, and we'll see if we can put a picture of a detachable gondola here so you can kind of understand, is that when it's actually running between stations, it's running on a cable. And then when it is in a station, it's off the cable, and it's kind of, well, in the picture, it's like going around a corner here, so you can see that it's on a track instead, which allows it to slow down to a much slower speed, but not stop, so that people can get on and get off. If you have been on Peter Pan's flight, it's essentially the same thing, where it slows down for people to get on and off, and then speeds up later on, during the actual ride portion. Now, there are obviously a lot of questions that people have, and Disney has not answered them yet. Not sure if Disney even knows these things yet, because right now they are currently only in the phase of clearing the land and starting construction on the stations. There's going to be a station, like I said, Pop Century and Art of Animation, and that one is going to be on the bridge between Art of Animation and Pop Century that goes over Hourglass Lake. So you can see all of the construction equipment there that's currently working on that. Like I said, we know that there's going to be one in the Caribbean Beach, Riviera area. Don't know if they're gonna have 2 separate stations or if they're gonna have one. The artist rendition looks like, let's see if I can see it here. Don't know. It doesn't really point out the actual stations. It just kind of shows where the lines go, which brings up another point of how many lines are there going to be? Do you have to transfer, etc.? And that'll make more sense when I show you in the picture. As far as transferring, do the guests that are going from Art of Animation and Pop Century have to transfer at Caribbean Beach to get on a different line to go to Hollywood Studios? Yada, yada. Okay, so now based on construction, we now know where the station at Hollywood Studios is going to go, and that is going to go at the end of the walkway that goes from the boardwalk to Hollywood Studios. And the station at Epcot is going to go near the International Gateway entrance. And the International Gateway connects the boardwalk to World Showcase. That's the entrance there. Now previously, it was primarily used by the guests the guests of the Boardwalk Hotel, the Yacht Club, the Beach Club, the Swan, and the Dolphin. However, if you are coming from Hollywood Studios, you can also go into that entrance. Now that entrance is the back entrance. The front entrance to Epcot is in Future World, where the buses drop guests off. So the front entrance in Future World is much bigger. It has more, what are called touch tiles, where you touch your finger and the Mickey in the security area. It's just bigger, it's bigger. So people are expecting that there's going to have to be some major reconstruction of the International Gateway entrance, because right now there's just no way it's gonna be able to handle the capacity of the current influx of people and then the guests coming on the Skyliner from Pop, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, and Riviera. Because those resorts are very large and there's going to be a lot of people that are staying there. Another question came up of what is going to happen with the buses from those resorts. Again, Disney hasn't said. Based on what they do at their other resorts, I feel very confident in saying I would expect them to also have a bus most of the time when a resort has some sort of specialty form of transportation. And by specialty, I mean something not a bus. They almost always have an additional form as well. So for example, if you want to get from Wilderness Lodge to Magic Kingdom, you have the option of taking a boat or taking a bus. Now, if you want to go from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom, you can either walk or take the monorail. If you want to go from the Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom, you can take the monorail or a boat. The only exception I could think of was going from one of the Magic Kingdom monorail resorts to Epcot. I think those are all by monorail only, but I should clarify that with saying I have seen a bus from the Grand Floridian to Epcot when the monorail was down. So they will provide alternative forms of transportation. So that's something to think of as well. Even if they did only provide the Skyliner, then I'm sure they would also have the bus in case it was down. You wouldn't just be stuck and have no form of transportation. Now, addressing what happens if the Skyliner goes down. Now, people that have studied this company, the Doppelmayr company that's making the gondolas, much more in depth than I have said that according to their website, there are multiple forms of backups in case of a loss of power. Now, something I had read online is typically what happens with these gondolas, because I have no idea, I'm not a big gondola aficionado, but typically what happens is if you have a single rope system, then there's like, I think they said like the individual cars move, again rope, a single cable system, the individual gondolas are moving on the cable with like a wheel or something, moving them along the cable. But then in the event of a loss of power, they could move the rope to get the gondolas back to a station. And there are multiple fail-safe mechanisms in place to prevent you just from being stuck somewhere. Which is also another reason why I think Disney will offer buses, is because a lot of people I think are going to be worried about that, and a lot of people are not into heights. So I really, really doubt they would not offer buses. Now, for anybody that's worried about will these be accessible, everything that Disney does is as accommodating as humanly possible to guests that have some kind of mobility issue and are, if they're in a wheelchair or anything to that effect. They're really very, very good about that. I don't know of any form of transportation at Disney that does not allow guests in wheelchairs. Even the boats and the monorails allow wheelchairs. They just have to get out the ramp sometimes, and depending on the level of the water and whatever. But I've never seen or heard of a person in a wheelchair turned away from a form of transportation. Some questions that have not even really been answered a whole lot in terms of the rumors are what happens in the event of inclement weather with the Skyliner. Now, lightning in Disney is going to be the biggest form of inclement weather. No idea what happens there. People were talking about high winds as well, but this company that makes the gondolas has made gondolas in, they're like very, very, very high mountains. I can see that based on the picture. I'm not exactly sure where they are. They're the Swiss Alps or the French Alps, but obviously there's going to be a very lot of wind there because it's very open as it's going up to the top of the mountain. So I would be surprised if wind were really an issue, especially so low to the, like it's going to be so low to the ground at Disney. I really would think that lightning would be the biggest issue there. And like I said, that has not been announced yet as far as what are they going to do? Is it still going to run? Is it not? Now, in terms of the entrance to International Gateway, another concern is there going to be this great big bottleneck there? Like I said, they're going to have to do some major reconstruction, refurbishment, something to expand that area. And something that guests have been talking about reading these rumor boards is, might they have the security checkpoint at the resorts prior to getting on the gondola? And I know that that is something that Disney has been working on with the monorails, and that we experienced the last time we stayed at the Grand Floridian in August, is we went through security at our resort prior to getting on the monorail. And I think this is a great idea, especially if you are going to be, in the air suspended on this cable. Now, if they hold between 8 and 12 people, if you only have 2, I would expect they're going to put you with other people as well. If you have a group of 7, they're not going to, be looking for one more if they fit 8 or whatever it is. So, I think that that is a great idea, and that would also help to cut back on the amount of security needed at the destination. We did have one, and I'm trying to think where it was. I want to say we rode the monorail from the Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom, switched and got on the Express monorail and went to the Transportation and Ticket Center, then got in an Epcot monorail and went to Epcot. And I think that was the time when we had to go through security twice, where we had to go through security at our resort and then at Epcot. That was the only time we had to go through twice, though. The way that it works otherwise is you go through security right before getting on the monorail, and then when you get off of the monorail, when you're entering the parks, you go through security, and then there's like a little bit of a break, and then you have the touch styles to get into the park, so your admission. So if you had already gone through security at your hotel and you're getting off that monorail, you're being dropped off in between those 2 points, between the security and the ticket entrance, so that you just have to go through the ticket entrance again. So maybe that's something they're going to do with the Skyliner as well, because that's something that they've already put in place with the monorails. Now, according to Disney, some of them are going to have your favorite Disney characters on them, and I'll show you the picture that Disney released. This is obviously just like an artist rendition picture, but according to this company, again, the Doppelmayr, they said that, I'm probably totally mispronouncing that, but they said that these are highly customizable gondolas. So it's entirely possible that Disney has not even designed their gondolas yet and don't know what they're going to look like on the inside, because there has been no rumors. I don't think anybody's found anything regarding what are they going to look like. People are worried about How hot is it going to be? Is there going to be air conditioning? Is there going to be a fan? Are there going to be windows? And there's been a lot of speculation in what's happening in gondolas in other parts of the world right now, because there are other gondolas in major cities in, I don't know if it was China. I want to say it was China, where people are using them as a mode of transportation and saying, okay, what do they do? What kind of things are possible? So those kinds of questions aren't answered yet. I'm quite certain they're not going to have no windows, no fan, no air, and then I mean, that would be quite warm. So I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen. But as far as what they're going to do, that remains to be seen. Now, for those of you who are going to be staying at Pop Century and Art of Animation in the coming months, and you're wondering about how construction might affect you there, currently you are still able to use the bridge over Hourglass Lake that connects Pop Century to Art of Animation. It's just that half of the bridge, like one side of it, is has walls up for construction. You can still cross it, it's just that it's a narrower bridge. A lot of people are concerned what this is going to do with the cost of the resorts as well. Is the cost of Art of Animation and Pop Century and Caribbean Beach going to go up now that they're gonna have the Skyliner? And Disney has not announced that as well either. The last thing that I wanted to mention about the Disney Skyliner is the opening date. Now, Disney has not announced an official opening date. They just said, come back in the future for more information on their website. But the rumors are that it is going to be open in mid-2019 for the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios, so Star Wars Land at Hollywood Studios. I'm guessing that this information came from building permits and the construction permits that were pulled to see when its expected completion date is, and kind of put that together with the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So that's all the information that I have on the Skyliner right now. I know a lot of it is still speculation. There's not a ton known, but I think it's very, very interesting. And yeah, we'll see what happens with the Skyliner in the coming months, and let's be honest, year and a half, almost 2 years. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.